The guy, 23M, I've 18F, been meeting for the past 2 months is going on a 12-day trip in 2 weeks, and only told me yesterday that the person he's going with is his female friend. I have been seeing this guy, who is hesitant to label our relationship, just yet for 2 months. He told me early on that he would be going on a 12-day trip to South Korea around his birthday with a person, without revealing any details about who this person is. He mentioned yesterday that this individual is actually a good female friend of his. Additionally, he referred to me as a friend in front of another guy he knew and exhibited other behaviors that frustrate me, such as canceling our meetups at the last minute without providing explanations. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I apologize for the length of this post. I am a female, 18 years old, and I have been interested in this guy, who is 23, for about 6 months now. He asked me out in December of last year after we began talking at his workplace, where we exchanged Instagram accounts. Initially, we were friendly but didn't pursue anything further because I felt shy, leading to a loss of contact over time. It's important to mention that he is the first guy I have been romantically interested in, making this whole experience somewhat confusing and new to me. We had our first official date in early January, and we got along really well. From that moment onward, my thoughts were occupied with him. I found myself checking my phone frequently for his messages and discussing him with friends. From the outset, he made it clear that he wanted to take things slowly and get to know me better, which I was perfectly fine with. However, he often took a long time to reply to my texts, which was frustrating, though I didn't bring it up for fear of causing a dispute. We met a few more times, and he shared details about his upcoming 12-day trip to South Korea in March, shortly before his 24th birthday. During our conversations, he would refer to the person he was going with but never provided additional information. One time, I tried to find out more by asking if it was a family member or a friend, and he merely responded with, "I would just call them a person." This response bothered me, but I chose not to probe further and let it go. Our meetings continued, but his slow responses made me overthink the situation repeatedly. Occasionally, he would suggest meeting on a specific day but would later cancel due to being busy, without elaborating on what he was doing. I invited him to my house on February 13th when my mother was out, hoping to show him my living situation and deepen our connection. We had talked about doing something on February 14th, but he informed me he would be busy and couldn't meet. When I asked if he was with friends, he simply didn't respond. That night, he took my virginity and left around 1 a.m., apologizing and saying we would meet again soon. Although I generally don't care for holidays, I was hurt that he couldn't meet on Valentine's Day despite having made plans and failing to explain why. It's important to note that we still did not label our relationship and were just seeing each other after a month. He visited my house 2 more times, staying overnight on both occasions, and we had intercourse. He has always been very respectful and never pressured me. He even met my mother twice, engaged in in-depth discussions about politics with her, and spent time cuddling with my 2 dogs. However, when I suggested going to his place, he would respond with phrases like, "No, not yet," or "I don't feel comfortable with that," which I completely understand. No one should feel pressured to invite someone over. Yet, given everything else, I can't help but suspect that he might live with someone he doesn't want me to meet. These events have caused me to feel insecure and constantly overthink things, raising my stress levels significantly. Just yesterday, I texted him to suggest meeting at his workplace, as we often do. I arrived 2 hours before his shift ended, and typically, he would invite me to sit with him. This time, however, he indicated that he would prefer if I returned later because he was busy with clients, which I understood. Therefore, I spent some time walking around town. When I returned, I noticed a guy chatting with him. When I approached, he initially seemed to ignore me. As I waited patiently, I overheard him telling the guy, "Sorry, I have to go. My friend is waiting for me." This once again irritated and confused me, as we are surely not just friends. While we're not officially boyfriend and girlfriend, it feels inaccurate to classify our relationship as merely friendship. The guy left, and we began walking through town to grab something to eat, and by this point, I was already somewhat annoyed. I decided it was finally time to inquire about his trip to South Korea, at which point he revealed that the mysterious person was actually his good female friend, whose dog he had shown me pictures of earlier. I have absolutely no objection to him having friends of the opposite sex. One of my best friends is a guy I enjoy spending time with. Typically, I am not a jealous person, but something about this situation bothers me. If he can refer to me as just a friend in front of someone random, I find myself questioning how much of his good female friend claim is genuine. Additionally, this trip spans 12 days right before his birthday, and he inexplicably avoided revealing who he was traveling with just 2 weeks prior to the trip, despite the fact that we had been seeing each other for 2 months. During our discussion about our relationship, he continuously flattered me with pickup lines, claiming that on a scale from 1 to 10, our connection rated a 12. However, this felt disingenuous given everything else that had transpired. I asked him how he would label our relationship, seeking clarity, but he struggled to provide a straightforward response, saying, "I'd say we're still seeing each other. We're dating since we go on dates, but we're not actually dating. When the time comes, I will ask you out properly." When? I don't know. Continuing our conversation, I remarked that he was the most relaxed person I had dated, which is true. He then exclaimed, "Whoa, so we are dating now." When I clarified that that wasn't the case and that we were simply two people going on dates, he jokingly remarked, "Oof, so I mean nothing to you then." I assume he intended it playfully, but it still aggravated me. He also assured me that he is genuinely interested in me and does not have the time to see anyone else, yet I find myself skeptical of that claim. As we made our way back to the train station to take separate trains, he informed me he couldn't meet on Saturday as we had earlier discussed, again failing to clarify why and remaining silent when I asked if he would be with friends. He expressed that he liked me a lot and suggested we could get together on Sunday, but honestly, I'm uncertain if I want to continue this any longer. He messaged me shortly after, including a kissy face and mentioning that he would like to watch The Lord of the Rings with me soon. I was not in the mood to respond, so I left him on read until this morning, when I replied sweetly, but in a noticeably cooler tone than usual, omitting any kissy faces. To be fair, he had also left me on read for nearly a day on several occasions, yet I still feel somewhat guilty. He read my message but has not replied, and I'm unsure if his silence indicates he is upset that it took me time to respond. Honestly, I am not overly concerned anymore. Sometimes we don't text for several days, and then we reconnect to arrange a meet-up, but I am unsure if this situation is the same. I genuinely do not know how to proceed, and I question whether I am overreacting about everything. If you have any advice or insights to share, I would be extremely grateful. What is your perspective on this situation? Should I continue seeing him? Can I trust that this friend really is just a friend? If I should reach out to him, what should I say? Thank you very much for taking the time to read this. I realize that I am not very adept at getting straight to the point when telling stories, and I apologize if this post appears somewhat chaotic in structure. Thank you again, and I hope you have a pleasant day or evening. Story 2. He said if I don't change how I dress for him, he's out. Now I take him questioning my choices, autonomy or relationship. What do I do? I need some serious perspective on this because I feel like my mind is being manipulated into believing that this is normal when it probably is not. So, I, 19 female, and my boyfriend, 21 male, let's refer to him as A, have been in a relationship for a while now. I always knew he was somewhat conservative regarding women's clothing, but I never anticipated it evolving into a significant control issue. I kept making subtle comments about my outfits, not like, "I don't like that on you," but more along the lines of "you shouldn't wear this outside." Initially, it was minor stuff, such as, "I just don't like when my girl wears clothes that show the shape of her body. I don't like tight t-shirts, so just don't wear them outside. You don't have to wear a burqa, just avoid anything that displays the shape of your chest." I was taken aback. What does he mean, and what am I supposed to wear? I told him clearly that I dress for my own comfort, not for others. I understand he doesn't want other guys looking at me, but that's not my concern. He behaves as if it is my duty to ensure that other men don't view me inappropriately. Then he confronted me with, "If you love me, why can't you make this small compromise? If you have 1,000 choices, why not just eliminate 3 or 4 for me?" Seriously. I responded by saying that love is about trust and respect, not control. I do not dress for anyone else, I dress for myself. I don't even wear revealing clothing, so why does he think he has the right to dictate what is acceptable for me? Then he began to venture further down this path of control. If you wear this now, you might wear something worse in the future. What? So now I can predict the future. If you think this is about freedom, one day you'll say you need male friends and I should just accept it because of freedom. Where is this even coming from? I just want my girl to be modest. That's not unreasonable, right? He even added, go ahead, have 40-50 male friends, engage in sexual chats with them, wear whatever you like. I don't care anymore. Tight clothing is essential to showcase cleavage, right? Otherwise, how will you feel confident? If you believe that covering your chest means sacrificing your freedom, then what does respect even mean? So what's next? You'll want to wear a bikini outside as well. Excuse me. At this point, I was completely done. I told him, if you can't accept me for who I am, just tell me directly instead of making me feel guilty for existing. Then he declared, I can't ever accept this. If you continue wearing those things, I'm out. Now I am left wondering, does this indicate that we have broken up or not? I am completely confused. He didn't explicitly say we are done, but he clearly stated he cannot accept me wearing those outfits. If I do, he is leaving. So does this imply I must choose between my autonomy and my relationship? On one hand, I feel as if I have stood my ground on something crucial. I should not have to alter how I dress due to his insecurities. Yet, I also wonder if I overreacted. Yes, he was controlling, but was it really that severe? I guess I need to know. Was I overreacting? Should I simply compromise to maintain peace? Or was this potential breakup actually for the best? Thoughts? Edit, I am unsure what to think anymore. My cousin recently texted me, saying that despite being related, he is offering a male perspective. He believes I am overreacting. He said, I understand that you think he is immature, but why not try to comprehend his perspective? It's not controlling, he just wants you to avoid certain outfits. Honestly, I kind of agree with A. If you leave him over this issue, trust me, you will regret it later. A genuinely is the best guy for you. Just think wisely. Don't allow feminism to distort your view to think this is control. It's just a minor issue. No one is perfect. You won't find a flawless partner. Sometimes in love, you have to compromise instead of trying to change someone or abandoning them. I have also accepted things in my relationship that I dislike because love is about accepting people's imperfections. If you break up to search for the perfect relationship, you will wind up single forever because everyone has flaws. I am unsure of myself now. Am I really being too stubborn? Should I just let this matter go? It's weighing heavily on my mind because I know he loves me. He keeps saying, if you asked me not to wear something, I would do it without hesitation. Now my cousin suggests I will regret it if I walk away. I keep replaying everything, and I fear that maybe I am the one being difficult. Perhaps I should just comply with his preferences and avoid particular outfits if it makes him comfortable. What if this is just a trivial issue that I am overthinking? I am truly questioning myself at this point. Edit 2. Since many people are making assumptions, I want to clarify that I do not wear revealing clothing. I typically dress modestly. When I go out, I generally wear baggy clothes or at least loose-fitting ones. The issue arose when I wore something that was a tad more fitted, not tight, just not oversized, and my breast shape, not skin, was slightly visible even though I was wearing a sports bra underneath. That's when he began making comments like, oh, so women have breasts, then why wear anything at all? Why not just be naked? One day, I wore a long, baggy dress, and he insisted I wear leggings or pants beneath it so that my legs wouldn't be visible at all. I responded, that's not how this dress is intended to be worn. It would look strange. His reply, then don't wear that dress. So it's not just about covering up a little more, it's about him dictating what is appropriate for me instead of allowing me to make that choice for myself. As for religion, he is not religious. His parents are Muslim, but he identifies as an atheist. He even stated, I'm not asking you to wear a burqa or hijab because I don't believe in religion, but if you wear certain clothes, it makes me uncomfortable. And you should try to understand that. So this is not about religious beliefs. It is his personal preference that he is attempting to impose on me. He does not utilize any social media platforms, except WhatsApp, only to communicate with me, and YouTube, that is literally it. Honestly, he was genuinely a nice guy, which is why I fell for him. He never cared about random internet trends or seeking attention. He was always kind, caring, and good to me. That is why this entire situation is so perplexing. It feels minor, yet simultaneously significant. I have already replied to some comments about this, but I wanted to make it clear so people stop presuming I knew of some religious dress code before dating him. That was never the scenario.